Ruby. So we are back. Now we'll have a little recap on the cooking cream. So the before we went on the break, we were discussing the cooking cream, its uses, storage, and the cooking cream is recommended for ganache because it is heat stable. Not recommended to be used in place of whipping cream because it will not give you the desired volume because it is heavier compared to the pristine whipping cream. This one does not require refrigeration before use, but once opened, you need to refrigerate. Then the next thing was for when preparing ganache, as the chef had advised earlier, the ratio of cream to chocolate is 1:1. If you feel that the ganache is lighter than you desire, you can use it in the ratio of 1:1.5, 1 being the cream, 1.5 being the chocolate. Then, and the ratio is not different, whether you're using dark chocolate, you're making white chocolate ganache or dark chocolate ganache, the ratio remains the same. And chef, you had said the shelf life of the cream once opened?
Once opened, say 5 to 7 days.
Okay, and now we will proceed with now how to prepare your ganache. We have already heated the cooking cream. Then the chef will take us from there.
We have already heated our cream, and then we have cut our chocolate into small pieces. So what we do, we put our chocolate into the hot cream, and then you stir until all the chocolate is melted.
And you need to remember your cream has to be you have to bring your cream to a boil.
To a boil,
so that
yes.
you're able to melt the chocolate completely. So, and this might take you about 10-15 minutes?
Not long, not strong, just a few minutes. And then all the chocolate will melt. Okay. Yes.
And when now making the ganache,
yes,
can you whip that?
Yeah, it's possible. Once you make your ganache, you can whip the ganache itself, and then it will give you a very nice cream to do your chocolate fudge cake. It has a taste that is required in a chocolate fudge cake. Either for the filling, you can use it as a filling or as a topping, where you can ice your cake using this. These we call it whipped ganache. So you can use it as a topping, or you can use it in between the layers when you are doing your chocolate fudge cake.
And when whipping the ganache, do you whip it while still hot, or we have to wait for it to cool down?
It has to cool down, because the ganache itself, it takes a longer time. It takes some time to stabilize.
Now, when during application,
Yes,
when now we are applying the ganache onto the cake,
yes.
without now not whipping it, applying each directly to the cake.
Yes.
Does it require to cool, and we can apply it on directly?
The best thing is you have to require it has to cool down, so that it doesn't spoil your icing of the cake. It doesn't spoil your icing on the cake. It has to cool down. Yes.
So maybe you can show our viewers on this camera on how we are progressing with the ganache.
This is our ganache. The chocolate is still melting. See how it's already forming a thick mixer. So you have to make sure that you keep on stirring until all the chocolate has melted into the cream.
So for the final result, it should be smooth and free of lumps.
Yes, smooth and free of lumps, like this one we had prepared. This is already a prepared ganache. So our final product from this one will be this thick ganache. If you feel it is light, the consistency is right for you, you can add some chocolate into 1:1.5.
And how do we now store, if now this ganache is too much for the cake that I am doing,
yes,
how do I store the remainder?
You need to cover it up in an airtight container, because you have to refrigerate it. You can use it for after 1 to 2 weeks.
And does not alter the taste or the
No,
smell?
it doesn't. As long as your fridge is efficient, it will be okay for you to use it after 2 weeks.
And how long can it sit in the open like that without it coming together? Or solidifying, or does it solidify?
It does solidify, but not fully solidify. What happens, it will become a bit thicker. Yes, it will take maybe 2 days to fully solidify. But it doesn't fully solidify, because even after 2 days or 3 days, if you press your ganache, it is still soft.
And to use it now after refrigeration, maybe I've refrigerated it for the 2 days.
Yes.
If I need to use it, do I just remove it and let it sit, or can I heat it?
You have to reheat it. You reheat it probably in the microwave, or in a water bath.
Okay.
Yes. So we will use the prepared ganache. Or we can wait until the chocolate, we use whatever you have mixed.
So maybe we can proceed with that as we see how this progresses.
When you are applying ganache on your cake, this is your already decorated cake. You need to use it on a wire mesh, so that all the ganache that spill off when you are applying, it goes into
the tray beneath it.
The tray beneath it. There are 2 ways you can use your ganache. You can do it as you cover the whole cake with the ganache, or you can do some drips on the side without letting all the side be covered by the ganache. So shall use the prepared ganache. The prepared ganache to do our cake. There are two ways you can do cover your cake with ganache. Either you pour it or you can pipe it with a piping bag. And let your ganache fall off from the main cake.
So saying we were doing the white chocolate ganache.
Yes.
Would it be possible to add color to that?
Yeah, you can add color.
Now knowing that we cannot use like regular gel colors on chocolate because
But
they are water based.
Yes.
What are the best colors to use on the ganache, considering we are using chocolate?
Maybe use the liquid one. Is this fully melted?
Yeah.
Because how are you?
Not yet. So we still. So chocolate colors are the best to use when doing
Your ganache.
your ganache.
The white ganache.
Okay.
You need to put a bit of that so that it does flow.
So and for the chocolate colors, those are available at our Tops Up branches. We have the Sugar Flare and Chef Master chocolate colors. They're recommended for chocolate because if you add regular gel colors to your chocolate, it seizes because they are water-based, and the chocolate colors are made using cocoa butter. That is why they gel easily with the chocolate
A bit
compound.
of that.
That's it?
Yeah.
So if, for example, your ganache is thick, like the initial one was,
Yes.
would you recommend adding cream to it, or what else can we add to it so
If
that you can make it a bit lighter?
Yes. You need to add a bit of cream to make your. If it is too thick, you need to add a bit of cream.
Cold or also heated?
It has to be hot.
And for the ganache making,
Yes.
would you recommend compound chocolate or the chocolate chips, or do they work the same?
Chocolate compound is the best.
Do you get different results if you're using the chocolate chips?
Choc chip, it depends on whether it is a compound choc chips. If it is a compound choc chips, it's okay to use it to do your ganache. Because some choc chip you might find they are made from pure chocolate. A bit of just bring it over it. Sorry. So it's a bit thick, the first one.
And now for the ganache that is dripping onto the tray, can that be reused?
Yes, you would use that one. You just scrape it up and put in a container.
But do I have to wait for it to dry, or I can just scrape it off once I'm done with the drips?
Once you are done doing your cake, you remove your leftovers on the tray and then you put it in a container. It is as fresh as the one you are using on top. You put your ganache, the cake back on the board, then you apply some sprinkles.
So here we have the ganache covered chocolate, the chocolate ganache covered cake. Now we are going to introduce some sprinkles to add more color to it.
With chocolate chips.
Where is this?
So you want to make it look more fun and colorful. And we also have the sprinkles, both the sugar strands like we're using here, and we also have the round ones in a variety of colors, single colors and also the colorful ones. And for decoration, besides the sprinkles, we also have sugar pearls. So all these are available at all our branches. So they are a delightful way to make your work appealing and much more presentable.
Once you decorate with your ganache, you can put the, what do you call it, toppers. And then you refrigerate your cake, you let it set.
So here we have the final end result, the final result of the cake with the topper included. Now we are going to refrigerate it so that our ganache can completely set. So our next thing, we will be introducing the chocolates. And maybe most of you could be asking if maybe I need to display my cakes. We have these clear pastry packs that are a perfect piece to display and even maybe carry your cakes. So for display purposes, we have this clear one. So you can place your cake on a, ensure your cake is on a cake board because the lid is quite light. So you need,
Maybe you put it in a sliding way.
so this is how you, so you can have your cake like this for display purposes. And this is also an easier way to transport it, especially if you maybe don't have a cake box with you. So this will work pretty fine. And you can always have it back if you're maybe taking it to a friend, and it is way much more presentable. Also, we have the more durable ones, because these can be single use because they are quite light. So for the more durable options, we have the caddy carrier. So this comes in a 10-inch size and is very perfect for maybe transporting your cakes for long distances, because it has also the handles to help you carry it around. So this will fit your 10-inch cake, and as you can see, they have quite a good height, not the regular 4-inch like the boxes usually have. So the next product is a chocolate compound. So we have the dark, white, and the milk chocolate compound. So one of the many questions that we have is what is the difference between dark chocolate and the milk chocolate, considering both of them are brown or maybe darker in color compared to the white.
Yes, that is right in color. This is dark. It's more darker than this one. This is right in color. This is more darker than this one. When you taste-wise, this is bitter. This is a bit sweet. Even this is a bit sweet. The white one is a bit sweeter than the dark.
Can they be used in the same way?
Yes, they can be used in the same way. You can either do the ganache as what we have done. You can also use the shavings on the cake as what we did with the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the, so this we call
Compound chocolate. Yes.
Does compound chocolate contain cocoa mass?
No, it doesn't contain cocoa mass because it is cocoa powder, vegetable fat, and milk powder. Milk fat, that is.
So what is the major difference in functionality or use between the compound chocolate and couverture chocolate, which it does contain the cocoa mass?
Mostly the pure chocolate is done for the cooking, eating chocolate, for making confections, which what we call the eating chocolate.
So, and this is strictly for cooking,
Yes.
baking,
Yes.
everything else.
Yes.
Okay, and what is the main difference between the compound chocolate that we have here, between the dark chocolate, the white chocolate, and the milk chocolate, knowing that we have other varieties in the market?
Yes. The main
What makes
difference
this
is
stand out?
the taste and the quality. This is of higher quality, and the taste is very like this one, the bitter cocoa. It has the light taste for the chocolate. That is the medium bitterness for the chocolate.
And is it available in other quantities besides the 2.5 kilo?
No, this is the minimum quantity in terms of the 2.5. Yes.
And we had mentioned earlier for the ganache, you advised for one to use compound chocolate as compared to chocolate chips.
Yes.
Why would if chocolate chips are available in maybe smaller quantities,
Yes.
why would I be compelled to prefer the compound as opposed to buying the...
When you are buying like the 2.5 quantity is more economical for you because you will use it more. As long as you want maybe 200 grams, you can use it for more as long as you want.
Okay.
Yes.
Then there's an issue with the storage of chocolate.
Yes.
So once opened,
Yeah.
you will find that depending on how you store it, there's a white film coating on maybe the dark chocolate and the milk chocolate.
Yeah.
How can one prevent that?
You need to, once you open, you need to seal it tightly in an airtight container. You seal the paper in so that you don't allow air to penetrate into the chocolate, and you keep it in a very cool place. You don't have to expose it to heat because the quality will deteriorate and it will form a white coating on top.
The other question is, some people find that you've melted your chocolate.
Yes.
Maybe you're using it to cover your cake or doing the drips, or maybe chocolate art.
Yes.
You find that once you're done, once it has set and cooled, it has cracked. What will be the cost of that?
As long as the main thing, maybe cracking it, maybe you are doing the drips or you have maybe done a plate on it, maybe you have written your name on top of it.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing that made you maybe the plate to crack is the thinness that you had made and the storage. Where do you put your cake once you finish and you have done your ganache? You need to refrigerate your cake to avoid those cracking from the drip and your plate that you have written your name on top.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing, is the compound chocolate bake stable? Like, can I bake with it?
Yes. Especially the choc chips are used to do the muffins. You can put the muffin into your butter and then you bake it. They are bake stable.
So they don't melt off once
No,
if I am
they don't.
using to bake?
Yes,
What
yes.
about the compound?
This will melt.
It will-
Yes, this one will melt.
So recommended for baking, you would say, is the chocolate chips.
Yes.
That
Heat
have been
stable, yes.
confirmed to be
It
bake
is stable.
stable.
Yes.
So, and what are the different ways we can use the chocolate during baking?
During baking, you can use it to do your glitters. You know the glitters that we normally do decoration now. Maybe probably you can light happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and then you can do savings on top, like whatever you have done on white forest, the black forest, and also you can do what we call the decoration done the one that we normally light happy birthday on top. We call them a plate, where you can place it on top of your cake, and then you write the name of whatever.
If you wanted to write on it.
Yes, yes,
And as we've said, when we were doing the ganache,
yes.
the perfect colors to work on with chocolate
Yeah,
is the chocolate colors.
yes.
Why not use like a regular powder color? On
A regular powder color, you affect the quality of the chocolate once you melt it. Yes.
In what way does it affect the chocolate quality?
Once you melt it, the chocolate will either separate, forming what we call them, small lumps. Once you mix, it will form some lumps. When you decorate, when you add the powder color, it will not have a smooth paste, like the ganache we have done. So when you are doing a ganache with the white chocolate and you add powder color, you will not have a smooth paste.
Okay.
Yes.
So and for those who would like to color their chocolate, so mostly we color the white chocolate because it's what gives you a clear base to use. And for here we have the Bayer's Cocoline, which is the Altinmaca white chocolate compound. And we have sugar flare chocolate colors, which are made using cocoa butter. So that ensures that it gels easily to your chocolate and does not separate. If you use the regular liquid or gel colors, that causes your chocolate to seize and it separates. So meaning you'll have wasted your chocolate. But if you use the correct colors that you need to use, so Sugar Flare is available, Chef Master is available. We also have Flocot from Americala, which allows you to use their gel colors, but you need to first add the Flocot into your chocolate, then add the gel color to the chocolate. But if you're going to use Americala gel colors, you need to first introduce Flocot into your chocolate so that it can allow you to add the gel colors to it. So I think that's it for the chocolate. Maybe we'll go to the next item, which is the glaze, which are available in quite a variety of flavor. There's neutral glaze, and we'll introduce, maybe the chef will bring them in, and then we will take it from there.
If you want to come. This one you can add the color that you want. Then we have the blueberry. It has a blue color and the blueberry taste. It is flavored. Then we have the strawberry flavored glaze. It has a pink color and it is already flavored by strawberry flavor. Then we have the caramel flavor and the caramel color. And then we have the pineapple flavored glaze. It is pineapple taste, and it has the color of the pineapple. And then we have the cocoa glaze. It is flavored cocoa, and it has the color of the cocoa. And then we have the white glaze. It is white in color. So what we are going to do, we use one of the glazes, which is a blueberry flavor, to do our cake.
So maybe chef, you can explain to us what exactly is glaze.
Glaze is normally glaze is they do final icing on the cake. Especially, you can also do we call what do we call them? Yes, the shiny mirror effect on the cake, whereby after you do your icing on the cake with the cream, then you apply the flavored glaze, or you can use the neutral glaze. The neutral glaze is clear in color, so it will not give you any color. So it will just bring out the shininess in the cake.
So you've shown us the variety of glaze that is available.
Yes.
There's the flavored one, it is colored.
Yes.
There's the neutral one. So for the neutral glaze, can I introduce color or flavor into it?
Yes, you can use any color that you want, depending on the type of cake you are decorating, as well as the flavor.
And
or you can use the flavored colors.
okay, so if say maybe I wanted it in green, so I can use
The green color,
the green food color.
yes,
Gel, liquid or powder?
liquid.
The liquid one.
Yes,
And for the application of the glaze, do I use it directly as it is,
yes.
or do I need to maybe add water, maybe to lighten it, or does it have any specific procedure?
Yes, if you find it so thick, you can add a bit of water to make it a bit light.
And is it direct from the can onto the cake, or needs whisking, whipping?
Just a small stirring, you don't have to. You just stir a bit, probably using your palette knife. Palette knife.
Palette. Palette.
Some water. So you can see it's already colored. So for this one, because it seems to be a bit thick, you can add a bit of color, a bit of water.
Warm, cold, or?
Cold. You don't have to add just cold water.
So maybe you can direct it here so that we can also feel how it's going.
So you see it has a blueberry color. Even the smell, I can feel the smell of the blueberry. You just add a slight amount of water.
So no specific ratio, just little by little until you get the consistency that you want.
Yes.
And can we use this to layer your cakes?
No, you don't use because the glaze is necessary, is purposely for the icing, top icing, to glaze your cake, is to give that shiny effect on your cake.
And can I mix cream with the glaze?
Yeah, you can use a bit of cream, probably, to do your decoration on top.
And does it have a specific ratio, or just add until I achieve the desired maybe coloring or effects that I want?
It's only until you get your desired coloring that you want.
And how do we store it once you've opened it?
Once you open it, you have to refrigerate it, because already you see the can is already airtight.
Yeah.
But you need to refrigerate it. Put in the fridge.
Then for glazes, you find that people make glaze and achieve like a marble effect with it.
Yes.
How is that done, and how can one achieve that?
This one can be achieved when you are using the neutral glaze, by using different colors
In the same mix, or do I mix them separately?
in separately.
Maybe I can ask, is it possible to mix two different flavors of glaze?
Now that one you give a very different taste. You know, these ones are already flavored.
Yeah.
So once you maybe probably you are mixing, like, let's say, pineapple and blueberry, you need to have at least mixed a bit and see the taste that you want. But it is possible you can mix the flavors.
And is this the standard packaging of it? If someone needs maybe a bigger packaging, is it available?
Currently, this is the standard packaging that we have.
Then besides covering or besides placing glaze on top of your already cream decorated cake,
Yes.
are there any other instances that we can use glaze?
Prefer most probably the neutral one. You can use it on fruit like the strawberry. You want to give the strawberry that shiny. When you are either placing them on the cake, you dip on the neutral glaze and then you place it on top of the cake.
And does that affect the shelf life maybe of that strawberry, if maybe it was already on cake?
No, it doesn't affect, because you know strawberry are very perishable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And can I use glaze for drips?
Yes, you can also do drips with the cake, with the glazes, the way you do with ganache.
And do I add anything to it
No,
if I'm doing the drips?
no, you don't have to add anything. What you just need to add is, if it is very thick, you add a bit of water, the way we have already done. You can also do the glazing with either a piping bag to make it more easier for you to spread.
So for glaze, you cannot use like the pattern scrapers. It has to be strictly the smooth one.
Yes, because once you use the scraper, you peel off your glaze. Maybe probably before you put the glaze, you can do the pattern
On the
on the
on
cake.
the cream.
Yeah, on the cream.
And when glaze sets, now you're done decorating your cake. Do I refrigerate the cake to make the glaze set, or it just sets on its own?
It will set on its own, though you need to refrigerate because your cake, because of freshness.
And does it harden once it's set?
No, it doesn't harden. It just form a very smooth cover, but it doesn't harden.
So if I may ask, now we've decorated your cakes. Maybe
Yes.
you've used the cream, you've used the ganache, or maybe you've used the glaze. And you need to apply edible print on your cakes.
Yes.
Is it possible to apply the print directly on top of ganache?
On top of the glass, no, you can't apply the edible print on top of ganache. You can only apply the edible print on top of the creamed cake. Why? Because the printed print will absorb some of the, because you know ganache is it is flowing, so it will tamper with the printed print on top of your cake.
What about the glaze?
Even
Once
the
it has
glaze,
set?
you can't put any printed print on the glaze. For you to have a very good way to put your glaze on top of your cake, you can refrigerate a bit of. Once you decorate your cake, refrigerate first, so that it will be easier for you to apply your glaze.
Okay.
Yes.
So in short, if we need to apply edible print, would you advise that maybe we make a plate with the chocolate, then place it on top before placing the print?
Yes. Yes. That is the best way to put an edible print on top of a glazed cake. But the idea of you having the glaze on top of the cake is to have that shiny effect.
Oh.
So after you do with your glazes, maybe you can do your rosette on top. You can maybe apply, if it is strawberry, like this one is a blueberry flavored. You can apply blueberry on top. Okay. Yes.
So this is the final product of the glazed cake, and as you can see, it has a very shiny effect, and it mirrors whatever objects that are near, that are close by, so you can see a reflection of whatever it is that is around you, and it looks very presentable at the end of the day. So you can proceed and add your topper on top of it. So if you need maybe to add the edible prints that like we have here, these come in different sizes. We have sizes ranging from A6 size. There's A6 size, this is an A5, and then we have the A4 size and an A3 size. So you can see this is round, so you might need to trim around it so that you can get the topper by itself, and you will need to peel the plastic layer on the back so that you can place it now on your cake. So for this one, for example, now that the chef has advised, it's not advisable to place it directly on this because it will absorb the moisture from the glaze. You can do a chocolate plate that by melting your chocolate and spreading it on a flat surface and cutting out the required size depending on the size of your edible print, then you can place the print directly on the chocolate. So we'll have a Q&A session with shortly after this. So we encourage you to maybe post your questions for us, then we can go through them and maybe give you the recommended advice on how to handle the range of products that we have used here today. Most of these items are available at TopServe branches. So, and we have, our branches are spread out countrywide. So we have 2 branches within Nairobi. Then we have a branch in Nakuru, we have a branch in Meru, we have Kisumu and Eldoret branches. So you're welcome to shop with us and get the variety of products that we've showcased here, all from Pristine and Skypex Limited. Especially in coconut. As now is Raki. She was with us in the earlier Q&As, so she will be expounding more on the whipping cream, the cooking cream, and the challenges most people face, and what will be their causes, and whether or not you can resolve the issues that come up when using your creams. So Raki, maybe you can take it up from here.
Yeah, so welcome back, guys. Back to the whipping cream and cooking creams, where we normally get questioned a lot about my cream is not whipping properly, my cream is not stable. There are some challenges that we face when it's hot, when the weather in Kenya is hot. People tend to forget the creams in the car, and then they get under the direct heat or sunlight.
Yeah.
That's when the cream loses its composition. So being a non-dairy cream, it's based on vegetable fat. So if it's under direct heat, the fat that composes it starts to separate. So if ever the cream is left under heat or direct sunlight, it is not going to give you the right texture or the stability that the whipping cream normally provides. Secondly, we have always had a complaint that my cream is not stable. This is sometimes, being a baker, I want to do everything together. So I'll put the whole bottle of cream and start whipping it, not knowing that my cream needs space to volume out. So we recommend 20% of the bowl's capacity to be filled for the best result. Fill your bowl or your whipping, wherever you are whipping or hand whipping or using the mixer, fill only 20% of the liquid into the bowl. So you're allowing your cream to volume up nicely. The volume that rises is up to 4%, I mean 4 times the volume that you've poured in. So give your cream space to volume up, instead of filling it so much that you don't get the volume that the cream will rise to. So that's another challenge we face. Cracking, the cream is cracking. The cream cracks because either the cake is too dry, so you don't give it enough moisture. The cream, obviously, when you're creaming the cake, you're creaming the flour and the baked sponge now. So if there's not enough moisture in the cake, it will tend to take moisture from the cream. And if this starts, your cream starts cracking very quickly. So to give it enough time before it cracks, make sure your cake is well moist and hydrated.
So on the matter of the cake not being moist enough,
Yeah.
does introducing sugar syrup to your cake because you will notice
Yes.
the texture of your cake once you've started slicing for
Yeah.
the layering of it.
Yeah.
Does introducing the sugar syrup in any way
Helps.
help the
It
cream
does help.
prevent from
Yeah,
cracking?
it does help. And sugar syrups in cakes does help to keep the moisture within the cake, so allowing the cream to give more days to cracking.
Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily everybody use it, because some people don't want so much sugar in their cakes.
Yeah.
So it's better to keep your cake moist enough. Yeah, you can use sugar syrup to avoid more cracking.
Okay.
Cracking, and then over whipping. Sometimes we whip it so much that the cream starts cracking on the first application. So you need to have the right consistency of the cream to finish your cake and creaming properly. Apart from that, ensure you handle your creams properly. Fridge it overnight or minimum 6 hours before you use it. When you remove it from the fridge, let it settle for a few minutes before you start whipping it straight away. Shake well before use, of course. Apply a minimum of 4 mm, that is recommended. And always avoid hot and cold breezes around the creamed cake, which will ensure that the cream is always in the right texture and composition on the cake. Apart from that, these are the main FAQs that we normally receive from everybody. I'm sure you must be receiving them as well.
Yes.
As sellers of the cream. Next is the cooking cream. I just want to add on to the cooking cream saying, yes, it's not a product that you can whip as such, but if you want a non-sugar cream that you want to use on your cakes, because some people do not want sugar cream, sometimes they want a sugar-free cake, you can whip this cooking cream also. It will not give you that much volume as like the whipping cream, because the cooking cream is denser with a lot more fat, but it will whip. It's not that you cannot completely whip it.
And the whipping duration, is it longer compared to whipping cream now that you don't refrigerate it?
Yes, it's slightly longer than the whipping cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it firms up to the same.
It does firm up. It does firm up.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, mostly cooking cream is for hotter applications. Yeah. You can use it for your any other foods as well, like making pasta or soups, etc. After opening the whipping cream pack or the cooking cream pack, it is advisable to put it back, if you're storing it again, in an airtight container, so it's not exposed to any other around the fridge, any other smell or any other air contaminating it from anywhere else. So if it's airtight and locked properly and put in the fridge away, it will give you a good 5 to 7 days more to use it.
So does this mean if not stored in an airtight container, maybe you've just cut it like we've done with this one, and I store it directly like this without even adding a cling film?
Yeah.
Does it absorb even the taste?
It does. It does. Whatever is in the fridge around it, it will tend to absorb the smell from around it.
Okay.
Maybe if you have an onion next to it, it will smell like an onion.
And eat an onion flavored cake.
Yes. To add on to chocolate, the compound chocolates and the pure chocolates. Compound chocolates are basically based on sugar, vegetable fat, and cocoa powder, not cocoa mass. Cocoa mass are now the real chocolates. At minimum, cocoa mass is 35% and 18% cocoa butter to make it a real chocolate. Compound chocolates are the cheaper versions of chocolates, which are more affordable for markets like here. Belgian chocolates are obviously more expensive, they cost a lot more, and it's only a certain range of cakes can require that chocolate. Apart from that, I don't see, was there any other question about chocolates?
Yeah, maybe because chocolate chips are bake stable, right? Because you can incorporate
Some
them.
chocolate chips are bake stable, some chocolate chips are compound chocolate chips as well. So the ones I think we have are bake stable.
So the bake stable ones are the ones that have the cocoa mass content in it?
Yes.
So that they can withstand the temperatures?
The temperatures, yeah.
Okay.
So compound chocolate chips will obviously melt within your baking. If you're baking with it, it will not retain its shape. So basically, if you have put it in your batter, it will cook with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that was it from the chocolate, the cocoa mass, and the stability of the chocolate chips.
Mm-hmm. Next was wrapping up with the glazes.
Yes.
A glaze is basically sugar in liquid with certain preservatives and emulsifiers to give it that shiny look that you have here. Basically, a glaze is a sugar composition, sugar and water with preservatives and emulsifiers. Its colors and flavors are now available, but neutral is what everybody uses to add to anything you want, either color or flavor or chocolate or whatever you want to add to the neutral glaze. You can add and go with your requirement.
So we can actually add chocolate to glaze?
Cocoa powder.
Or cocoa powder to the glaze?
Yeah,
okay.
Cocoa powder.
And when you're adding the cocoa powder to the glaze,
yes,
you don't heat the glaze, it will just
No, we are just working with it. Just a little water, the way we insert a little water, just add cocoa powder to it.
By little.
And mix it with the glaze. Though we do have a cocoa glaze, but if anybody wants to use neutral glaze this way, it's possible, yeah. Obviously, refrigeration is also the same way. Airtight container, once opened, it's always recommended to put things away in an airtight container. So your there's no interference from around the product into the main product. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're avoiding the whatever composition, not composition, sorry, everything that is around the fridge. If it's airtight, you know that it's secure enough, nothing is going in, and you have the product lasting longer than if left open. Molding and everything, you avoid it when it's airtight. Obviously, it's not going to last forever, but it will give you the best shelf life possible.
So this does not have a limit of like the 5-7 days like the cream?
No, it's a little longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then when handling the glaze,
Yes.
to avoid the molding and everything,
Yeah.
do we have like specific tools that we can use? Can we use a plastic spoon, stainless steel spoon?
Obviously, don't try, when you open the container, always try and remove what you need in a separate container instead of putting your palette or a spoon that you're using directly into the container. This is putting everything that you've used around directly into the container, and already it's maybe it has what do you call, touched the air around you or whatever it is, it's going inside, so it's already contaminating it. So to avoid that, always remove first what you need separately in a working bowl that you're using and work with it. If you need to add more, you can obviously add more, but you cannot return what you've used back inside to avoid contamination of the remaining product. So always store what is, always take out what you need first, work with it. If you need more, you add more, but obviously don't try and return what you've not used back into the container, because it will contaminate the rest of the product.
Okay. So
Is there any other question and answer
maybe
from
any
the
questions from us online interactions?
edible prints on glazed cakes? Not really advisable, because the glaze is a shiny texture, and it's not as dry like a fondant or a cream that allows you to use the edible print on a glaze, because the glaze will have moisture, will always have a moisture effect. It will never dry out completely until you, unless you have used the gelatin to give it that texture of non-wetness. You understand? It's always going to be, there's always going to be a wet layer on top. So if you use edible print on a glazed cake, your print will become wet. It will take moisture from around it, and maybe it will start losing its clarity of the print. So it's not recommended to use prints on glazed cakes.
So maybe for shorter periods of time, if I'm just going to cut the cake now, then I can place it.
Yes, that's fine, but not for somewhere which is going like half a day away. It will, and with the heat and what we have in this country, I'm sure it will displace its colors.
Yeah.
Also, glazing is easier when the cake is frozen. When the cream is a bit frozen, the glaze tends to stick better around the cake when the cake is when the cream is a bit frozen. So when you've creamed your cake, freeze it and then glaze it, you will get a better cover of the cake.
So, and then there's the question of whether the chocolate compounds are usually tempered, or what is the melting process for the compound chocolate?
Compound chocolates are not tempered, but they are made of vegetable fat. They don't have real chocolate like real cocoa mass. So tempering fat-based chocolate is not a good idea. It will dry out or it will solidify very quickly. So real chocolates are tempered, but compound chocolates can either double boil and melt, or easier way people do it these days is just micro it. When you're microing it, obviously you don't micro at like everything at one go, or 1 minute or 2 minutes. You do it step by step. You do it for half a minute, you remove, you stir again, and place it again for half a minute again. This way you are making sure that the chocolate has not lost its composition.
Then most people have a challenge, and they say white chocolate chips don't melt as easily as the dark chocolate chips.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Because white chocolate has a bit of milk powder inside it, and that milk powder doesn't allow a quick melting process. When you're melting white chocolate, it's always slightly difficult because it has milk powder in it. Same with the milk chocolate as well.
So that means they take a longer period of time melting?
Not longer, but maybe sometimes difficult completely to melt on a micro. So it's recommended to use a double boiler for white chocolate, because it will start separating sometimes.
So I would want to believe that most of your queries have been answered.
Yeah, in case they have any other questions, they can keep posting on YouTube. Either myself or yourselves will get them, and then we'll have them answered.
Yeah, we'll be sure to give you the responses that are the perfect responses, so that you're able to handle your, so that your baking process can be made easier. And I think with time, we get to learn more, and
yeah, we will keep doing this often, I believe, and you can keep posting us your questions and requirements when you have any. Top Serve and ourselves, Pristine and Skypex, we sign off this afternoon.
Yeah.
And hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for having us. We appreciate the forum, and I believe most of the queries have been answered. Yes. Most people have gotten to understand and learn more about the products that you have in stock. And whatever else that we have displayed here today, from the glazes to the compounds, whipping cream, and the premixes. And I believe we can get premixes, like we got the 1 kilo pack, so that maybe people who don't want to chance with the big packaging, they can get something and try out before they
we're soon introducing the smaller packs as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's it for today. Be sure to subscribe to our social media platforms in Facebook. We have our TikTok, we have our YouTube channel, and we also have our Instagram and Top Serve Limited. So, and be sure to shop with us from all our branches. Nairobi branches, Kimathi branch, and the Accra Road branch. We have our Meru branch, Kisumu, Nakuru, and Eldoret. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope that this has been educative and informative at the same time. Until next time.